You're listening to Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, a podcast where we explore what it's like getting older, the peaks, the valleys, and everything in between. In this season of Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, we're covering topics related to vibrant aging. I'm your host, Cheryl Praska. Let's grow old together. On today's episode, I'm joined by Mitch Goldfarb, who is a retired professor from Westchester University, where he shared Tai Chi, mindfulness, and meditation. He is the recipient of the Honors Outstanding Faculty Award. Author, composer, and producer, Professor Mitch has multiple credits for healing and meditation albums, including Do Less, Achieve More, a guided audio textbook for Tai Chi, Native Path, music for Tai Chi, yoga and meditation, and multiple recordings for Dr. Deepak Chopra. His articles on Tai Chi, mindfulness, and meditation can be found in several publications. Professor Mitch, welcome and thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Thank you, your staff, and your whole organization doing really fantastic work for all of us as we age and go through this journey.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure. So, Professor Mitch, you're joining me today to talk about Tai Chi. So, our listeners know there are going to be 4 segments to today's episode. The first, we'll learn more about Professor Mitch and Tai Chi. Next, we'll cover the 3 philosophies of Tai Chi, followed by exploring a few Chi essential activities. And lastly, Professor Mitch is going to lead us in a 15-minute Tai Chi flow, which I'm very excited to participate in myself. So let's get started. Professor Mitch, tell us about yourself and how you became interested in Tai Chi.
Well, Tai Chi quickly became a passion in my life. I found it quite by accident. I was on vacation. I read all my books, so I grabbed one of my wife's books that she took out of the library. It was a Barbara Kingsolver book, and one of the characters was doing Tai Chi to center themselves. And they had just returned, I think it was from Vietnam or something. So they were dealing with all the stress issues that our soldiers deal with. Um, and it really captured my imagination. So I put it on my life list. And as a result, I got around to it and I fell in love with it.
So for those people who are unfamiliar with Tai Chi, can you explain what it is?
Mm. This is a great question. I'll try to explain it in two parts because it's a large subject. It's really very interesting. Primarily, it's the study of balance and harmony, and it becomes a way of living and a way of relating to people and life and all those that we care about. Um,
Mm.
it's a way to be in the world, and it's based on the principle of being soft, loving, and peaceful. So, as we look at harmony, we understand that everything works better when we're in harmony and balance, from finances to relationships to work to play, all of that. And there's a second component of that, which is accumulation and circulation of chi, which is life energy. It's different than the words Tai Chi. It sounds the same, but it
Mhm.
has a different pronunciation to it. So, at the heart of this is the mindfulness, the use of the minds, our thoughts. There's a Mandarin phrase called a Xin Yi, which means the heart mind, but it's best understood in our Western culture as an intention. Without the mind, it's not Tai Chi. One of the masters I studied with, Ben Lo, and I've been privileged to study with 5 masters under the Chen Manqing lineage. Um, Ben Lo said, without the mind, you're just doing calisthenics. It's the mindfulness that's at the heart of it. So, using Shin E in our culture as an intention, all of a sudden we start living life intentionally in everything we do. Could you imagine doing that your day to day? You know, a lot of us are sleepwalking, trying to get through the week to Friday, Saturday, woohoo, it's the weekend kind of thing. But to intentionally choose everything we're doing and doing it. So there is the idea of this thought, I want to take it a little deeper, is that we're always creating our life, our experience with our thoughts. Every thought, every action, every perception, every feeling, and every word that we speak, we're always creating, right? Now we have a continuum. This is my belief that all these activities, our thinking, our thoughts, the way we even language, our self-talk, right, moves us towards harmony and balance or away from it. So it's never not active. So part of Tai Chi teaches us to have thoughts that empower us, that nurture us, that motivate us, right? So we're always creating our world, and there is no neutral ground. It's always shifting on this. For example, yin and yang. Let me show you this. This is one of the Tai Chi symbols. Everybody knows this symbol, yin and yang. And to be in balance, you have to spend as much attention in yin, soft, feminine, nurturing, yang, hard, out there doing. Well, on our Western culture, you know, in the United States, you know, we all live way too much in the yang. We're not spending as
Mhm.
much time on the replenishing and the restorative qualities. So Tai Chi teaches us to do this. And it's not some kind of special Oriental wisdom, although it's a Chinese art, and it's nothing exotic. It's really the wisdom of our own senses, our own mind and body together as one. And we get to choose this. It's a process of getting back to our authentic self. We're always moving towards our authentic self. And using all our senses to get there, there is a sixth sense in Tai Chi, in my opinion, and that's called our intuition, right? So that's a big part of emotional intelligence, to use your intuition, to trust your feelings inside yourself and let that guide. Tai Chi is basically a feeling art. It's not a thinking art. We don't do it in our head, we do it in our whole body, and we feel what's happening when we do this. You
The
question?
intu I Well, the way that I'm connecting with intuition, I think about, like, a mother's intuition, and it's
Exactly.
just that, like, you that gut feeling, I know I need to make a decision in this direction, and the only thing I could say was guiding me would be that mother's intuition. So that's just the
Right.
way that I'm connecting with everything that you're saying.
That's wonderful. That's exactly it. In fact, there's science behind this.
Hmm.
Um, all our life's history and knowledge is mostly stored in the basal ganglia of the brain, and that has no connectivity to the verbal cortex, where
Hmm.
we think in terms of words, right? So it talks to us in terms of feelings. So through this art, we start to tap into this tremendous resource that you naturally have as a mother, that we all naturally have. And we want to cultivate that. Many of us don't trust it and shut it down. Make sense?
It does make sense, and you talked about, like, balance, harmony, moving toward your authentic self. So those are all coming up for me as benefits of Tai Chi. What
Yes.
other benefits
Well,
would you say there are?
before we get to that, I want to explain the second component of Tai Chi,
Oh, I'm
which
rushing
is
us. Please do. So
which is
sorry.
really cool. That we start off, let's start off this way. It's a basic component of what we do in Tai Chi, and we play Tai Chi. If this
Okay.
art is for you, you're known as a Tai Chi player. Look, we play baseball, we play sports, we play music. We schools and parks have playgrounds for kids, right? Plays in theaters. So what is the importance of play, right? We'll number one, we do it because it's fun. That's my number one rule in Tai Chi and in life. If you're not having fun, you're not moving in the right direction. You know, it's a chance to set your inner child free. Remember the excitement of being a kid? And you have kids, so you see it in their eyes and all
Mhm.
that, right? It's an opportunity to recharge our spirit, spend more time in the yin, right? To balance it out. And really, but at the end of the day, it's about discovery, right? Kids playing is part of their socialization. Well, all the movements of Tai Chi, these ancient masters who figured it out, learned it and figured it out through play. And think more about play. You're in the moment, you're present, you're celebrating life, right? Feeling good is a big part of well-being and play. All of this. Plus, there's the release of the mental pressure. What we have a phrase in Tai Chi called the monkey mind, right? All the negative thoughts, not too smart enough, don't have enough time, certainly not rich enough, all those kind of negative thoughts. That's the monkey mind. And we get to be ourselves. Again, returning to our authentic self. Everything in Tai Chi, its principles, the movements, how it's done, the discovery, all came about through play. I want to share a quote with you. I wrote down this quote. I thought it's really, really cool. One of my favorite, you see all the music stuff. That's my other passion in life. One of my favorite American artists, Louis Armstrong, said, "What we play is life." And it's all right there. Isn't that cool?
It is cool, and I also like when you were talking about discovery because that made me think of curiosity. And I know that when I approach situations with curiosity mindset versus a knowing mindset, I always feel better. They always turn out better, and so I can equate that to what you were discussing about discovery.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. In fact, I have a curiosity chi essential in my book, Tai Chi and the Art of Mindfulness. Can I show the book? Is that okay?
Yeah, I was going to show it anyway. Please do.
Okay. I'll share it with you. There we go. So, the idea of the chi essentials, which we'll get to later, I'll kind of frame it right now, is a chance to develop and practice these principles all day long in a fun and playful way.
Do you think we're ready to get into some of the benefits of Tai Chi?
Well, sure. What the benefits that I see, it's everything I've been saying so far. You can tell what the benefits are, with the release of tension and stress and all those kind of things. But in addition to that, I think the most unusual benefit that I experienced that I did, and I wasn't looking for benefits. I just was fascinated by the art. Like you say, you're curious. I was
Mhm.
very curious about it. But when I came to it almost 30 years ago, I was already at the peak of my game in music, doing creativity and all that, and working in a studio. I own studios, write, produce, and all that. And all of a sudden, about a half a year into Tai Chi, I realized my creativity was exploding again, just like when I started my career in music. And it's something happens in all areas of life when you work from the inside out. So Tai Chi is known as a soft art, an internal art. So when you start working from the inside out, you hear things different. I think different. I chose different performances to hit the final recording. I wrote different. I arranged different. And it was very gradual over time. So an example, rather than like a speed guitar solo being the main solo in the piece, if it was a rock piece, the musician might be just hanging on one note and you can feel the emotions coming out of it. So it connected me more to my intuitive, more emotional, the feeling sense of things. And you just start processing the world in a much more enjoyable way. We have all these feelings, right? And they're there to empower us, I believe. So this unlocked it in a deeper level. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and, I'm assuming most people have a love in one way or another of music, and it does bring out emotions, whether you like, if I'm exercising, I wanna listen to something that's really upbeat. If I'm, like doing yoga, I might want something more whimsical in the background. And it really helps me emote or drive me in the direction I'd like to be going in that moment from a feeling standpoint.
Exactly. And Tai Chi really unlocks a lot of areas so you can empower yourself and consciously, intentionally Be in that place where you're feeling good about whatever you're doing and how you're doing it.
So, I think we can get into the 3 philosophies of Tai Chi at this point, if you'd be so kind to share them with us.
Oh, I would love to. So Tai Chi, there's no religion base in Tai Chi, but it comes from 3 different philosophies. One is Confucian, Buddhist, and Taoist philosophies. So the Buddhist philosophy, I'll try to give you the Cliff Note versions of this, is really compassion. And how we practice that is with a principle. It's the I don't care principle. It's often expressed that way. So things come up from time to time in life of concern, makes us self-conscious, makes us doubt. Sometimes we're even afraid, right? So compassion says, listen, wait, don't be afraid. Don't be concerned about that. Don't worry about what I think, right? Because I don't care about that. You're rich, you're not rich, you're beautiful, you're not pretty. I don't care about any of that. I care about you because you're another human being and we live on the planet together. It's our own village here on this beautiful planet we call Earth. So that's the compassion component from Buddhism. Now, the Confucian philosophy has a word in Mandarin called Zhen. The pinyin is REN, which is often translated as benevolence or love or humanness or goodness. How we practice this, how this is part of Tai Chi is I care about you like I care about my family, right? I care for you the same way I care for my son or my daughter or my parents, all my relatives. This is basically it. I love you like family. That's Zhen. That's benevolence. That's the loving kindness that comes out of it. The third component is the Taoist philosophy. And again, we had come up with another Mandarin word called Ziran, Z-I-R-A-N. It's opinionization, which is often translated into to mean nature. In this case, it's a specific nature. It's your nature, right? We're always trying to come back to our own natural nature. And this big thing, the whole of life called the Tao, right? We all have a part in it, like a little bud on a tree. And it's a chance to simply just be yourself. When we're authentically ourselves, right? We don't need to justify anything. We don't even need rules to act right. We naturally do that. We don't need to conform. So one of the gifts of Tai Chi is it teaches us to be self-aware enough um, to really be ourselves in what we're doing.
And I can't think of one person who would not want more compassion, love, and, like, delving more into their own nature and a sense of self. So they just are such strong guiding principles that Tai Chi really, like, gives out to the world.
Yeah, you know, part of the gift of Tai Chi is it entices people to understand what it's like to behave in harmony with the rhythm of the universe around us.
Mm.
And this brings us to all the benefits. The more you get into it, the well is infinitely deep. To me, the whole Tai Chi experience is like peeling back the layers of the onion. And the more you get into it, the richer, the deeper the experience is. It's not something that I would say you could check off your list. I tried that, I did that. Like I tried skiing, did that, boom. It's much, much deeper than that, and I just can't get enough of it. I still take classes myself, after almost 30 years of teaching and sharing this art and reading books. There's so much more to learn from it.
So before we get into the chi essentials, is there anything more to add about how Tai Chi creates harmony and balance in life?
Well, like I said, it entices people to move in that direction. The thing that's really, really nice about how all of this kind of works is as we play with this art. right? The soft internal art. We feel good. We start empowering ourselves more and more in how we think, how we deal with other people. This this whole thing about being in flow, and that's why I
Mm.
have the free flow classes every Monday. This idea of just being in flow, in rhythm with everything around us, is harmony. If you think about how most of us respond when we're as our consciousness develops, until it develops more, many of us use our will to go against the flow of life. Um, for example, let's say you don't like how the election came out. I'm not talking about politics, but whatever, or something else. We're often like, it's raining outside. Oh no, it's raining, or it's cold. It's great. We need the water, right? So
Mm.
rather than use our will to go against it, we start joining it and flowing with it in all the stuff around us. You stop judging things as good or bad as you move forward. Think of how many times you don't like something for your kids even, or somebody in your family, right? We're judging. And yeah, we need to have certain amount of judgments. It's not like throwing everything out of the window to be safe and all that. But we start to feel better about what's happening around us because there's always something good coming ahead. There's always something that's going to be in balance and harmony that we'll find. Um, and it might not be in the timetable that we expect things to happen, but there again, that's a judgment.
Mhm.
So it frees us of a lot of that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I'm thinking about, like, leaning in versus resisting. That's
Right.
coming up for me, and, you know, that I do that if it's raining. Like, "Oh my goodness, why would it rain today?" So I'm definitely an offender to these things. I would
Well,
if
don't think of yourself as an offender. It's just we've created. Here's the idea in a nutshell. We've created unconscious habits of thought that really disrupt our flow. Now, as we become more aware of it, we start to create thoughts that empower us and move us forward. It's not that we're offenders. We just haven't been exposed to this in a way to where we can choose to move more in balance and harmony.
Mhm.
And we're back to the benefits again.
Yeah. Would you prefer to age independently in your own home or live in a nursing facility? I know what I'd rather do. Friends Life Care membership offers just that. Plan today for a future lived at home with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience while protecting your savings. Learn about your options at a free seminar or webinar. Register at friendslifecare.org/register or call 215-628-8964. Let's move into introducing. I am going to show your book again because Mitch was kind enough to send it to me. And he is going to walk us through. I think you've selected three of the Chi essentials to go through. And the book is Tai Chi and the Art of Mindfulness. Professor Mitch Goldfarb is the author. And I think you picked three, and we're going to get into them. So, can we start with the first Chi essential you selected?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this is number 6. This is called the conscious breath. Okay? So breathing is really, if you think about it, our only ongoing continuous exchange with our environment. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, as we grow older, the breath gets shallower. We're chest breathers. We breathe to here. When we're infants, we breathe way down into the abdomen. Okay. So when we start to hold our breath and shorten our breath, well, tension develops. Okay. So breathing into the dantian brings us into the abdomen, brings us to the dantian, which is the place where chi initially accumulates. Now it's interesting, all the Tai Chi principles, there's no rules in Tai Chi, it's only principles. They all
Mm.
marry the same principles of traditional Chinese medicine for health and well being. Okay, so we breathe deep into our abdomen. And in fact, let's take a conscious breath. So what is it? Let's define it.
Mm.
The conscious breath is where we use all our senses. We breathe slow and smooth, but we breathe deep into our abdomen. But let's try it this way. Let's take a breath and breathe out to our fingertips into our toes. Take one in, nice and slow and soft. We'll do it together. On three. 1, 2, 3. Gently inhale. And then kind of sigh the breath out. Just release it. Okay, so that's a conscious breath. Make sense?
Yes, I don't
So,
do enough of them.
well, let me share some more about this, and we'll show there's a special way to do it with this exercise, okay? And you only have to breathe 3 times a day to do
Let's
this,
do
to
it.
feel the benefits. So, the two magical things happen when we do a conscious breath. It starts to relax the mind to prepare it to function better by removing stress and anxiety, which Tai Chi does. And it helps us to find the stillness that's already within us.
Mm.
Okay? So let's try it again, and I'll show you some of the science behind this. Okay? Let's take one more conscious breath. Okay, gently inhale out to your fingertips and toes, and just let go. Okay, so let's test this. I call this the green giraffe test. All right?
Yes.
So I want you to use your imagination, your creativity, and visualize a green giraffe. Okay?
Okay.
And then we're going to breathe. So get a nice picture. Green giraffe, green giraffe. Then on 3, we'll breathe in. So green giraffe, 1, 2, 3, breathe in. And release the breath. So think about what happened to your picture of the green giraffe. Somewhere in the middle of the inhale and the exhale, as we're using all our senses to feel the breath consciously, for me, the picture blinks out and then the green giraffe comes back
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Try it again, now being aware of this, okay?
Okay.
So green giraffe, 1, 2, 3, green giraffe, breathe in. Release the breath. Did you notice it blinked out?
I did. I mean, I'm having a laugh because it happened, and you said, and I was thinking, I wonder if my experience is going to be what we're talking about, and it absolutely was.
So
So interesting.
here's the technology behind it. You cannot be aware of your breathing and think at the same time. All the senses go to the breath. So the conscious breathing stops the mind for a nanosecond. You get a little mini vacation,
Mm.
okay? And the overactive mind, the worrying monkey mind, stops our breath. We tend to hold our breath and it gets shallow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as we do this over time, that little nanosecond, that stillness that's already in us starts to expand, expand, expand. It changes over time. So here's how we apply this. Do this for 1 week, 7 days. All you have to do is take 3 breaths a day, and it's even easier than that. We're going to use a touchstone. So what's a touchstone? Something you come in contact with every day, right?
Hmm.
It could be your cell phone or your car keys or anything. Let's say you use the door handle of your refrigerator. You go into your fridge 3 times a day, right?
I do.
So you grab the door handle. Oh yeah, conscious breath.
Mm.
Okay, then open the door and feed your face. Get your snacks, whatever you want to do, right? So something to remind you to breathe 3 times a day, and things will change over the week. But don't take my word for anything. Be curious, be a skeptic, and try it for yourself. And notice how you feel after a week of doing this. I get emails from students who studied with me years ago at Westchester University saying, "Hey, professor, I'm still doing that conscious breath. I had to go into this corporate meeting. I just breathed and boom, and I was relaxed. I was grounded. I was centered. I was connected to the earth."
It sounds very gratifying that you're trying to help people really like show up in a new way through your teachings, and then to hear back, just to know that what you've been teaching for so many years when you were in your like professor era of your life actively, that you really helped some students show up differently in the world. I think that's so wonderful to hear.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's really interesting. The way I look at this, Tai Chi is a soft internal art. I cannot do anything to change you. You, the person playing with this art, does it for themselves. Tai Chi is an art of self cultivation. So you really start to learn through these principles how to empower yourself in whatever you're doing in life.
Mm.
Being a parent, being a business person, being a musician, whatever you want to play at, it's there for you.
Are we ready to get into the second chi essential that you've selected for us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is number 16 in the book. I call it the stealth Tai Chi boogie. Okay.
I can't wait.
Okay, so this is 3 ways to practice Tai Chi all day long, and it will help to remove stress from your body. So, the first thing you do is you allow your head to float up. This is part of the Tai Chi posture. So, we have a nice straight spine. If we're sitting in a chair, kind of get balanced on our sits bone, let your head float up. The
Mhm.
crown of your head connects to the heavens. Then the next part's really hard. It takes a lot of effort. Just think, relax. Just like calm and comfortable in your body. Now we have this part of Tai Chi where we connect to the earth and we get earth chi and sky chi. We harmonize it. And people call it sinking, but it's basically just softening down and connecting and feeling your feet on the floor. Very simple. So you can do it in a chair, but how I like to do it is we do 3 components in the Tai Chi movement. I'm going to stand up and show you how to do it standing, and then I'll share with you a way you can practice it. So whenever I'm on my feet all day long, or if I'm even doing business by the phone, I'll get on my feet. We do 3 things in the Tai Chi practice. We shift the weight from one leg to the other, and often, I'm not sure if you can see I'll stand back here. I'll lift my toes or lift my heel, and we turn the waist, right? So I could be shifting, turning the waist, shifting the weight, head floating up, and that's it. That's it. So whenever I'm on my feet all day long, no matter what I'm doing, I'm constantly thinking about relaxing into the ground on one side, right? Maybe turning my waist, stepping the foot. When we step the foot, this is the third thing. We put it down empty. We want to separate yin and yang and the principle of empty and full. And then I shift into that. So think about this. You're at the supermarket. It's lunchtime. You're getting your salad or whatever. One of the, there's all the food that you can take out these days in Wawa or the supermarkets. And you're at the checkout register, and there's a nice long line, right? And there's a little old guy in front of you, fumbling for his coupons and counting out his nickels and quarters and stuff to pay for it. Everybody's looking at their watch. They're stressed. They got to get back to work, right? Meanwhile, you're there shifting your weight, stepping your foot, turning the waist, and you're relaxing and building your energy while everybody's having a meltdown around you. So whatever you're doing, you can practice this. It's stealth. No one's going to know you're doing Tai Chi, but those 3 components are every movement in Tai Chi. Stepping the foot, separating empty and full, right? Shifting the weight, consciously sinking, softening into the ground, relaxing inside, and turning your waist. It's the fulcrum for all the energy because it connects back to the abdomen, the dantian, our energy center.
And what's coming up for me, I sit at a desk all day, Monday to Friday, and then right before that and right after, I'm in my car. And I know I hunch over. And that, what I'm realizing now, it must be very disruptive to my flow, to a flow state. If I become more conscious, I think it would just help, the energy flow, the blood circulation flow, and probably at the end of the day, feel better.
Well, I have a treat for you because my next Chi Essential addresses that
Let's do
exactly.
it. I'm ready.
Because we're hunched over our
Yes.
phones or on our little computers, right? And we're
Yes.
crushing the organs, we're crushing our lungs, right? So this is a whole Tai Chi form by itself. This is the Chi Essential number 11. It's called the non-shoulder form.
Mm,
So most people hold tension in their shoulder
yes.
and aren't aware of it in the back of the neck, right? And when I'm trying to solve a problem, I've caught myself doing this. So I decided to apply these principles. I'm thinking really hard. Oh, I'm going to solve the world's problem, right? And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
whoa,
yes.
what's happening? So it marries the second one, the self Tai Chi boogie. Let your head float up, drop your shoulders, take a breath, and think, relax. Do it once a day. That's it for a week. Notice what happens, right? Over that week, as your mindful awareness grows and you release physical tension from your body, which will then again release mental tension and stress from the body. That's it. You
Clarity.
raise your shoulders when you're tense.
I'm
You,
going to do my best. Definitely
hey,
something that is an
you know what's
area of
interesting?
work for me.
You know what's really interesting? In the Tai Chi alignment and the movements, there are no shoulders. The shoulders hang elegantly. Spine's nice and straight. Head floats up, the chin relaxes down to protect the throat, and that's it.
Mm. And that's a perfect segue. I'm going to move into a different location and Mitch is going to stand up and then we'll be right back. And Mitch is going to guide us in a Tai Chi flow. Now, as you can see, we are ready to get into our Tai Chi flow. So I'm going to hand things over to Mitch and I'm going to do the flow with him.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right. All you have to do for the Tai Chi flow is just imitate what I'm doing. There is no thinking aloud. There's nothing to think about, nothing to remember. And like I said before, there's only principles in Tai Chi, but I have two rules for flow and all my Tai Chi students in my practices. So, number one rule is you got to have fun. If you're not playing at this, you're not doing Tai Chi. Number two rule, very important for safety and the principles of Tai Chi. I don't want anybody to stretch or push or try to do anything. Okay? The goal is to take this moment to be comfortable in your body and to nurture yourself. Pay attention to nurturing. Practice the loving kindness to yourself. So, for example, you can modify what we're doing. Let's say you have a bad shoulder, right? I reach for the heavens, right? Your shoulder's bad. You could reach right down here for the heavens. I don't want you to force anything or strain. We want to take laziness to an art form, really elevate it up there, and just have fun with what we're doing. So don't do anything that would cause you any discomfort or pain. We're going to start to learn how to use chi rather than muscles to effort things. So effortless effort is our goal. Success without a struggle. And there's a phrase for that in Mandarin. It's called Wu Wei, the effortless effort. Okay, so I'm going to get back here where you can see my whole body. I'm going to start with my feet a little close together. My head floating up, shoulders hanging. We get to practice that. Everything loose, little octopus arms. Soft and sweet. So we're going to connect to our abdomen, our dantian. So breathe in there, and I want you to float open your angel wings. Just let it float up. And then soften the elbows, soften the shoulders. Let your palms and fingers expand and catch the air, slowing the fall. So let the breath do everything. Breathing in. Now sigh it out. Just release. We want to do everything by releasing. Feel your little fingertips leave jet trails in the dense air. Nice. Breathing in and sighing out. So now we're going to do a movement called Sync the Chi. So roll open your palms, visualize, use your imagination, draw on that beautiful white light of Chi, of universal energy. Let it bathe your body, bathe your organs, boosting our well-being and our immune system. So we gather this energy. We're paying attention to nurturing, drawing it into the heart, softening it down. And now we share it with the world. Wu Da means martial virtue. So visualize the planet. We're going to give it a big hug. We're going to light it up with our love, our light, our Chi, and embrace the planet and melt it down. Good. I'm going to take all my weight over here and I'm going to step out just a little bit and then center. I'm going to visualize drawing energy up from the earth, drawing it up and guiding it down from the heavens. So we have three treasures in Tai Chi, heaven and earth and their energies, and the human being. So we bridge the energies between heaven and earth. We're just floating around like a seagull floating on a wave that lifts us up. And then we just gently slide down into the trough, nice and slow and smooth and gentle. Breathing in and sighing out. Good. One more time, breathe in and sigh out. Good. Now stick with me. This time the hands float up and now we're going to open your heart and then gather in. This is really good for the upper respiratory. You could even do some of these movements in a chair. We do chair Tai Chi too. So this is great for as we age, the upper respiratory system, our rib cage tends to calcify. And this is just the nice, soft, slow movement that we need to open it up. Gather in, kind of like a bellows. One more time, open and gather in. Now stick with me, we're going to open again. I'm going to take this hand, drop it down. I'm going to embrace this big Chi ball. We call it embracing the moon. And then we're going to spin the moon and gather it again. Good, nice and soft. So to keep the shoulders out of it, notice on my upper arm, the elbow is lower than the hand. If this is up, my shoulder's up, so drop the elbow. We have this nice round ball. Draw it in. Good, one more time. And then again. Now this time we're going to start to experience yin and yang. I'm going to take all the weight over to this leg and spin the moon. Good. I'm going to take all the weight over to the other leg and let the moon spin by itself this time. So I'm softening down inside, melting into the ground, feeling my feet relax into the earth. And then to the other side. Good. Let's come back to the center, hug the big tree. Inhale and open, 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 gather in and melt it on down. We're going to circle around back to the beginning and sync the Chi. Gathering, nurturing, and nourishing, bathing the body, bathing the organs, boosting our well-being, our immune system. And the more we relax and release, we build our energy. So notice you might have a little more energy later today. Now this time, embrace the world, share your love and light with everybody, your Chi. Good. So between all the bones and all the joints, these are energy gates. So we have 26 bones in each hand. So we're going to do a couple of hand exercises so you can open that up. We're all typing on our computers and our phones and all this. So we're going to loosen our hands. Okay? So let's fold our hands together and we're going to do a soft figure eight pattern. Really gentle, back and forth. I'm going to come in a little closer to the camera so you can see me. Really gentle. And I want you to pay attention to how you're moving because we're going to change the figure eight, the infinity sign. Infinite love, infinite light, infinite Chi, life energy. So let's draw it back the other way. So do it in reverse. Just follow along with me, nice and gentle and easy. There's nothing that you can do wrong with these exercises. Just really soft. Good. Okay. Now we're going to put our fingertips together and we're going to flip them. I'm going to do some spider push-ups on the mirror. There we go. Nice. Let's flip it back the other way. So these are Tai Chi and Qigong. Energy work is Qigong exercises. Good. Flip it back again. And then the other way. Okay. Now drop your elbows. The hands come in and push out through the heel of your hand. And then sink the elbows and drop back. Gently releasing. Nice and soft. So we're going to open up the joints of the hands. So this time when we push out, imagine just your thumbs expanding and loosening. Sink the elbows to draw back in. Melt it down. Gentle push. Good. Now the index finger really gently, really soft and slow and smooth. Our middle fingers are next. Just gently let everything open and release. Softness is a celebration here. Celebration of the yin. Now the ring fingers, a couple times. Really gentle and smooth. And the pinky. Good. Notice how things feel. Good. Now all 10 digits, all fingers. There we go. Everything soft and open and smooth. Good. Okay, now we're going to get more energy going. Let's tap the hands like this together, very lightly, very gently. And then the bottom of the heel, tap it a little bit lightly. Everything needs to be done softly and gently. Now the back of the hands, tap them together. Might hear a little clapping sound. 26 bones in each hand. That's 52 bones. We're opening up all these energy gates. Now this webbing between the thumb and the index finger, tap the two together. Good. Now we're going to work our way down. So I'm going to still use the thumb and the index finger in one hand, but then put it between the index and the middle finger and tap there lightly. And then between the middle finger and the ring finger, move on down, really light and gentle. And then the ring and the pinky. Good. Back to between the thumb and the index on both hands. Now we're going to go down the other hand. Index and middle. Middle and ring. Ring and pinky. Okay, good. Shake it out. Nice and soft. Okay. Now, bring the fingertips together. Again, like we did for the spider push-ups. We're going to twiddle our thumbs, just really soft and gentle, smooth, slow or fast, however you want to do it. We're going to loosen it up. Now, twiddle your thumbs the other way. Change the rotation direction. Nice and soft and fun. Good. Bring your thumb tips together. Let's try the index fingers. So at some point, it's going to get a little more difficult. So you must slow it down and soften. Rotate it back the other way. Be kind to yourself. Practice that loving kindness now. Okay, bring the tips together, the two middle fingers. Now it's going to get a little more. So you have to soften and be kind and slow it down. Good. Twiddle it back the other way. Okay, bring those tips together. Now this is the real challenge, the two ring fingers. Don't even realize how much stress and tension we have. So real soft and slow and smooth. And be kind to yourself. Only do what you can do, remaining calm and comfortable. Twiddle it back the other way. Good. Bring those together. Now we get a bonus. The pinkies are pretty easy. Twiddle them around. Yeah, there's a payoff at the end. and back the other way. Now, Tai Chi is also really great for the mind. So we're going to do a little kinesthetic, which means physically touching and feeling. Keep your fingertips together, okay? So we're going to tap our fingertips, and I'm going to call off which fingers to do it. So don't think about it, just go with the flow. So thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky, middle, ring, index, thumb, pinky, thumb, ring, ring, index, middle, pinky, ring, thumb, thumb, index, pinky, middle, ring, pinky, thumb, index, ring, middle. How'd you do? Pretty good? Okay, so let's sync the chi. Gather it in, melt it down. Every cell now vibrating in sympathetic harmony with this love, this light, this universal energy, boosting our well-being, our immune system, building our energy. Good. And now let's hug the planet and light it up with all your love, your light, your chi. Sink it down. We'll bring 1 foot over to return. We'll do a little bow. We're going to say some sacred Tai Chi words, and it's really easy because it's the same in Mandarin as in English. Ta-da! Ta-da! Great. Okay. Come on back in. How
That
do you
was
feel? How about you, Cheryl?
I will say I could feel my focus shifting. I could feel myself relaxing the further into it that we got. So
Great.
I mean, I feel ready to go into the next half of my day far better than when we started. How do
Great.
you feel?
Are your hands tingling at all? You feel the energy in your hands a little bit?
I do, but I feel the energy throughout. I really tried to embrace it and
Great.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I feel the energy throughout.
Good. Some people feel tingliness. My hands feel like puffy Mickey Mouse glove hands. Some people
Okay.
feel warmth, and it's cool. And eventually, you could get it all over your whole body. That's the characteristics of chi flow
Ah.
happening.
Well, I do want to see if before we close, you'd be willing to share how our listeners could learn more about you and Tai Chi. And you do offer classes over Zoom. So people really from anywhere would be able to register for those types of classes.
Yeah. In fact, there's a free class every Monday where we just do flow, just
Mm.
like today. Nothing to think about, nothing to remember. You don't have to learn anything. You just show up, and we do every other week in a chair. So it's nice and comfortable. Um, and it's free. The price is great. There's room for everyone. It's on Zoom, Mondays at 11:30 to 12. It's just a half an hour, 30 minutes. And it's just, we have a fun time with it. If you do you have a place to post the links?
Yeah,
Uh,
I will post the links in the show notes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you will be able to see that in the comments. And thank you. That's very generous
yeah,
of you to share that.
we have people coming in from England and Florida and all over. We started it at the first week of the shutdown. We started doing free classes, to help alleviate the stress, and it's there for everyone. We're still going strong 4.5 years down the road. I also teach on Zoom and in person traditional Tai Chi classes. They have a small fee attached to it, um, but they're both available on Zoom or in person. And we even do one of the classes is the Tai Chi sword class, which is really pretty hysterical when you get a bunch of adults running around with pointed objects. You
Yes,
really
I
feel like a
imagine.
little kid. It's a lot of
Nice.
fun.
Uh,
And
I
if
will.
you're interested in my book, it's available on Amazon. So you could go there to purchase the book if you want. But, really only do Tai Chi if it's something for you. This is not something I really solicitate because you can't sell self-improvement. When the person's ready to grow, to expand their experiences in life, they'll find the right teacher for them. And anything you do that promotes mindfulness, in my opinion, whether it's yoga, a walking meditation, being in nature, any of these kind of mindful activities, all of us benefit from it because we lift the level of vibration for the whole planet. So that's my spiel.
And I'll link all those resources, just
Ta-da!
like I'm going to link, just like I'm going to link your Monday Zoom class. And I so appreciate you joining me on the podcast and introducing me to Tai Chi. And I know that our Friends Life Care members and friends have been asking for more information about Tai Chi and classes. So I know everyone's going to really enjoy this episode. And my sincere thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me here. I think you have the website if people want to reach me for the traditional classes. But this is a pleasure. I think the work that Honestly Aging does so people can age in place and all that is really a gift. As we grow older, we need these resources to support our journey so we can still have fun at any age. So thank you again.
Thank you for listening to Honestly Aging by Friends Life Care VigR, a unique program focused on aging with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience. You can find links and show notes from today's episode on our website at friendslifecare.org/podcast. Thank you to Professor Mitch Goldfarb for joining us today. You can learn more about Professor Mitch at mitchgoldfarb.com/Tai Chi Arts, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. And thank you to Nick Dieterding for editing all the Honestly Aging episodes. If you like our show, please rate, review, subscribe, and join us next time. To learn more about aging with vitality, independence, growth, and resilience, subscribe to our blog at friendslifecare.org/blog.